Hey folks, it's Eko here. Welcome to my new base, which I have dubbed the Eko Mini. I designed this base with several ideas in mind. Number one, it has to be able to deal with the bizarre changes to zombie AI that 2.5 introduced. Number two, the first stage must be buildable by day 7 with modest resources, but still have an upgrade path to take it to late game. And finally, number three, it needs to be modular to allow multiple copies of the same base connected to a central crafting area to be possible. In this video, I'll give you block by block instruction to guide you through the build, but before I do that, I want to prove to you that this base works. And if I'm being honest, I wanted to know that it worked too. So to put this base through its paces, we put it up to insane. 64 zombies, nightmare run speeds, day 7,000, and maxed out our level to get to Gamestage 1464. While I was hoping for success, what I wasn't expecting was to find some new little tricks on the AI behavior. But first, let's talk about the features. You got grenade chutes here to launch explosives down into the pit, and we have quite a few of these because it's not just for launching grenades down there, it's also for shooting down at any zombies that are attacking your pillars. One of the other features that you'll see that's common to many of my bases is that there is a double set of powered vault doors that lead across the entryway, so if you feel overwhelmed at any point in time, you just drop all the zombies down. As opposed to some of my other bases that went up in height, instead I made this one low to the ground but then made the pit deep, so for one, we didn't have to build up as high, and for number two, we made sure that the zombies still saw us, because there is a new change in AI that came with 2.5 that if you're too far up, you can be out of range for the zombies to sense you, and then they go into rage mode and just start destroying your base. And speaking of destroying your base, while I was zoomed down here, I didn't notice that they had taken out 2 blocks in my fighting position. Luckily, I was able to back up, get the charge guy, drop the door so that we gave a reprieve, and then took care of the Infernal Hunter. Being able to drop those vault doors is really critical because it gives you time to recover, it allows you to do repairs on your base, and honestly, it just gives you a moment to step back and collect yourself. Once you have heals and repairs done, you just put the doors back up and the zombies start pathing again. If you keep it open too long, they will go for your pillars like you see down here, so make sure to get your heals and your repairs in and then open those doors right back up. The other nice thing about these grenade chutes is they are designed to be able to throw Molotovs down so you can get those down into the pit, light everybody on fire, and then you can just drop the Zeds into the giant Barbie. Alright, time for some more repairs here, so let's get all this patched back up. And now I want to show you some weird behavior. Look at how the zombies move right here. It looks like they think they can get around the side of that rounded pillar, and instead they throw themselves straight into the pit. And when I was going through the edit here, I thought that was a one-time situation, but here, look, they're doing it again. They continuously just keep running straight in, especially if they're coming from the backside of the base. And that makes it super handy to just lob grenades down to the kill pit, but we are getting towards the end of Horde Night here. We had that one close call, but it looks like the base is in pretty solid condition. We're definitely missing a few blocks here and there. These new grenade chutes that I created here are also super useful. You cannot fall through those, you can hut grenades through them, you can shoot through them. So one of the things you'll notice about this base is that there are so many of those grenade chutes all around. That was an intentional choice I made because of how zombies randomly go into rage mode in 2.5. You need a way to break them out of that so that you can keep them off of your supports. And here we have successfully cleared that 4 AM mark, but we got to clear out the last few zombies, and then we're going to take a look and see how much damage was done to the base. And just for reference, I absolutely expected to lose some blocks here, but I was pretty impressed with how well this stood up, and the whole base is not steel, just so that you know. The bottom 3 blocks are steel, then the top of the columns there are concrete. I did that just to try to save resources. So let's go check the stairs and the approach here and see how it's looking. I am shocked that the blade trap is still intact. The stairs look pretty solid. The approach and walkway here are all in good shape. Doesn't look like these blocks have taken too much damage. Some small repairs afterwards, a few replacements, not too shabby. Let's go check down in the pit and see how it's looking down there. Few blocks on the side, weird spots that they hit, but this is in pretty damn good shape. So before we start the tutorial, I am going to do one last experiment. I like to know how many legs of a base I can lose before it falls over. So I pulled out the dev gun and we're just shooting out blocks on the pillars just to see how it stands. You can see we can lose the entire front 2 pillars and the base is still standing. In fact, we can lose 3 of the pillars and the base is still standing. It's not until we start shooting that final pillar that the whole thing comes crumbling down. So hopefully this gives you a sense of all the features in the base. We also had SMG turrets on the roof, but I forgot to turn them on. But I do think overall this was a good showing of how this base can last you through Endgame. But obviously we don't just get to jump to Endgame. So we'll start with this day 7 version, which is primarily made of wood reinforced with concrete. It has the option of adding electrical if you can get to it. Next we'll go to the stage 2 version. This one has cobblestone and concrete. This one I'm typically looking at day 14 to 21, and you've got to have the electricity running by that stage. And then we get to the final iteration of this that you just saw me fight the Horde with, and you can see where it's steel reinforced. This one is made for day 21, 28 plus, and as you just saw, it took us straight through to day 7,000, so you should be good to go. To get things started on stage 1, you'll need the materials over there on the left side. The electrical bits are all noted as optional, but they will make your Horde a lot easier on day 7. For step 1, we'll start by laying out the foundation with the shapes you see over there on the left. And to build this, you have a pretty small footprint. You just need a space 8 by 20. And we're going to start by digging out all the places that provide structural support, because we're going to put down cobblestone first. So once you have those dug out, start placing your cobblestone blocks. And we're just using basic cube shapes. For the left side of the base here, this is where the ramp is going to be going into the base, and then the 4 squares that you see on the right side, those are going to be the pillars that support where we're going to be fighting. Next, we'll dig out the remaining pink and purple blocks here, and this is just going to be the outline of where we're going to have the pit going down below. Since these aren't load bearing, we're just going to fill these in with wood shapes. In step 2, we're going to add the pillars, and you're going to need 20 wood shapes and 48 cobblestone shapes, and we're going to be using this new facade tile corner curved block, which is really nice. On top of the 4 square foundations that we added in, we're going to be putting in cube 1/4 round outside blocks in a circle format, as you see here, and then you're going to repeat this same process on all of them. Next, you'll flip over to the cube facade tile corner curved, and you're going to go up 3 blocks. The first 2 are going to be cobblestone, and then the third one is going to be wood. Now, optionally, you could build this out of building shapes and then upgrade as you go. This base is pretty structurally sound, so you don't need to worry about things too much. Now, when you go around the circle, as you're standing up here, you can look down and copy shape and rotation to make your life a little bit easier. And then you just add all the blocks up while you're standing here, and that way you're not jumping up and down throughout the whole process. Don't jump off when you get the last one down here though, because we're going to come and add the corner of the base here. We're going to add another cube 1/4 round outside on that edge. And then we're just going to repeat this process with the other 3. Now, typically at this point in time, I would say that you could replace these with regular cubes, but I recommend keeping the round shapes here because it does seem to force the zombies into the pit. Step 3 is one of the trickiest parts of this whole base. Once you get past this, you're going to be on the home stretch. So not a lot of parts in here, 5 cobblestone shapes, 50 wooden shapes, a couple wooden doors, and 4 wooden hatches in the configuration that you see there on the left. The first thing we're going to do is connect the 4 pillars, and we'll start in the back, putting cubes in each of the sides. Next to these, we're going to put ramps, and these are going to be for the grenade chutes, and then 2 cubes in the middle. After that, we're going to move around to the side of the base, and again, we're going to put 2 cubes in each of the corners, so 1 cube there, 1 cube there, and then in between those, we're going to put gable inverted 1/2. This is purely decorative, so if you don't want to do that, just put cubes there. Same thing on the front, we're going to put cubes on the side, but then we're going to put those ramps again right here so that we can have the grenade chutes on the front. Then a cube beveled corner right there, and a regular cube there. Then we'll move around to the other side, and we're simply going to repeat the same pattern, cube, cube, and then gable inverted 1/2 in the center. Now we're just going to go to the back of the base and add a few ladders here at the top so that we have a way to get into the base. When I put together the follow-on video on the crafting base, I'll have to take those out, but that's an issue for another video. On the top here, we're going to connect the 2 sides using cubes. The area around the fighting position we did cobble. As much of that as you can is useful. Then we're going to come to the side here, put 1 more cube in the corner bit here, and then right next to it, we're going to use a wedge 60 tip. So you see you're creating an angle down to be able to launch grenades, and we're going to do the same thing next to the other ramp on the other side there, and that will end up covering up with hatches later. In the corner on top of the pillar, we'll add a cube, and then right next to it, we're going to go with cube 1M holes, and we're going to put 2 of those side by side, and then we're going to, for symmetry, have that on the opposite side. We're going to put doors over those in a moment. Then we can fill everything in with wooden cubes, except for the blocks directly across from the ramps in the front. Across from those, same as we did in the back, we're going to put in wedge 60 tips, again angled so that you have a diagonal chute to launch grenades down. Now that you've put big holes in the bottom of your base, you have to have a way to not fall through, so on the bottom here, we're going to add cube pole centers right underneath those holes, and that makes it so that you can still shoot and throw grenades through, but you yourself will not fall through. Lastly, we'll take the ladders upstairs, and then we're going to put in the hatches here over top of these. Just make sure that they flip outward. Otherwise, you're gonna have a really hard time hucking grenades down those. Same thing with the doors that go on the side once you get to them. In step 4, we'll add in the walls and the roof, and for this one, you're gonna need 125 wood shapes, 20 cobblestone shapes, 1 wooden door, double door, and hatch. Then to get started, we're gonna frame out the 4 corners. We're gonna go up 4 blocks using cube facade tile corner curved, and then on top of that, we'll put a cube 1/4 round outside. Then you're going to repeat that same process in the other 3 corners. Just make sure you're rotating it on each corner so that the round side matches the floor below. Next, we're going to add on the front face of the base, and you're going to be using cube shapes, and you're going to outline the area where you'll end up building the fighting position. So you'll go 2 blocks on one side, 2 blocks on the other side, build that up another level, and then just connect it the whole way across. On the back side of this, you're going to place 2 cube facade tile corner curved blocks, and this is really just to protect the electric fences. And then across the top, we're going to add gable inverted 1/2s. We're going to carry this the whole way around the outside of the base. Just make sure that the carved outside faces outward so that you get the aesthetic. That's the whole reason we're just doing this for extra character. You could put cubes here if you wanted to make life easier, but this is one of the great tricks to be able to give your base depth and not have it just look like a cube. Next, we're going to start filling in the sides, and we're going to leave a 2-block high space open. We're going to put a door in there so that we can wire up the electrical later, because otherwise there's no way to quite reach it. Now we'll move on to the back side of this, and we're going to leave 2 blocks open in the middle so that we can put a double door so we have a way in and out of the base. If you end up using my crafting add-on, we'll create a corridor that actually connects through here to the main crafting area, but for right now we'll continue to use the ladders that we have on the back side. So then you just slap a double wooden door in here and you're good to go. And just to the right of this, we're going to add some scaffolding ladders so that we have a pathway up to the roof, mainly for repairs. Also, we'll end up adding some SMG turrets here for the later game stage. For the other side wall, you're just going to completely fill it in with cubes, and then also that line across the front will fill back in with cubes. Use the scaffolding ladder that we just installed, head up to the roof, and you're going to fill the entire roof in with cube blocks, and then we'll simply put a wooden hatch over the opening, and we're done with this step. In step 5, we're going to give our zombies a lovely way into the base, so we got to build the ramp/stairs up, and you're going to need 35 wood shapes, 25 cobblestone shapes, and then a couple iron doors. This step should be easy, just follow your foundation, put in 2 stairs filled right beyond the row of 4 cobblestone that you have, and then you're going to fill in 6 pairs of cubes along here, and then we're going to kind of repeat this process, but each level up, we're going to throw another stair, and so obviously there'll be less cubes to fill in. We're going to leave in 1 odd gap that you wouldn't expect, and that's so that we can put in electric fences later. So the first 2 levels you're going to have completely filled. Now when we get to this 3rd level, this is the one that I was just talking about. So you're going to go 2 sets, 3 sets, and then you're going to stop. You're going to leave that spot open. Then we're going to repeat the same process up here where we go and put in stairs, some cubes, and then I normally just jump off the edge here and then fill in that one there. Now we want this a total of 5 blocks high, so we're going to go back up to the top again, add a couple stairs filled here, and then we'll put some cubes across the top just to finish things off. Now you're ready to add in the zombie walkway, and we're going to use cube 1/2 blocks. You're going to orient them so that the opening area of it is on the outside, so it creates a thinner plank in the center. And then on the end of these, we're going to put either wedge 60s or cube 5M round 04s, whichever you feel like doing. The result is going to be the same. We're just widening this out so that we can connect the iron doors. You don't have to, but I feel like it looks aesthetically weird if you don't. When you're placing the doors, it's really important that you rotate it so that the handle is on the bottom and the open area is facing towards you. That way when you flip it out, it creates a platform for the zombies to walk across. Same thing, you're going to have to change the orientation when you face back the other way, and then flip that out just to make sure that they come together. Just make sure on your placement as these cannot be removed without destroying them. With that out of the way, now we can add the fighting position. For this, you're going to need 25 cobblestone shapes and a couple of torches. Starting on the bottom sides, we're going to use ramp 6M01, so you'll place those angled up, then ramp 6M02, and then ramp 6M03. So we're creating kind of a gradual slope up, and above that, cube corner bevels meet directly up with that. And then on that front squared off face, we're going to put ramp incline fillers. For the actual defensive position, we're going to put in scaffolding ladders across the back, and then we're going to go with pole doubles to fill in the rest. On top of the scaffolding ladders, we'll put them, and we're going to orient them so that you can hit through them. Then we're going to reverse that position around and cover up the front in front of the scaffolding ladder, and then again right above that. Flanking the fighting position on either side, we'll put a pair of torches, and after that, all we have to do is get the pit going and the base is operational. For this step, you're going to need about 10 wood shapes and 5 cobblestone shapes, but most of the work is actually going to be digging for this one. To get started, we're going to dig 4 blocks out on the side of the stairs. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in that very first block, we're going to put a stair going down, and this is going to be your cobblestone stair. After this, you're essentially going to be digging a corridor diagonally down, and you'll just keep digging and placing a stair on the next opening spot. So essentially it'll go 1 cobblestone stair, then you'll go 7 wood stairs, and then you'll put a cobblestone stair at the very bottom. And the reason you do this is that the top and the bottom are typically the areas that take the most damage. Obviously, you can upgrade these as soon as you have the materials to do so. Once you have the stairwell installed, you're ready to go ahead and dig out the pit, and we always do the pit last because that way if we fall off while we're doing some of the other parts, we have less chances of breaking a leg. Also, there's 2 methods of doing this. If you have time, you can dig the entire section out here for resources, but what I recommend is actually digging around the outside so that you don't have to dig the center 4 blocks, especially when you're pushing to get this base all ready for day 7. This is just going to save you a little time. So we're just going to keep digging a perimeter here until we get to the bottom. And you'll know you're at the bottom because you'll line up with the last stair at the bottom exactly. So then you just take out the last few blocks here at the bottom and collapse that entire center pillar. Typically after you're done with this, there's going to be a few blocks left over to clear out. So you just need to clear those last little bits. And just as a question that a lot of people have, do you need to install blocks here yet? And the answer for day 7 is no. This will actually probably stand up good enough, and honestly if the zombies do some damage, it'll save you some digging later when we upgrade to the next step. So the final step in stage 1 is optional, though it does make Horde Night a lot easier. Here are the resources you'll need if you install the electric fences for day 7. Now I know a lot of people are looking at this and saying there's no way I could get to this, I can't get enough magazines to be able to build all this stuff. I don't expect you to. If you get these, I typically buy the generator from the trader. They're 1500 dukes. And same thing with the switches and the electric fence posts. One other thing to note is that if you're in a pinch, you can just skip the switches and wire straight from the generator to the electric fence posts. For this one, you're going to want to install the generator up in the top left corner. That way it's away from any cop spit or anything like that. Go ahead and put a single engine in it, put some fuel in it, and go ahead and turn it on. From here, we're going to go ahead and put a switch on the left side to control all the power for traps. We'll use this for any future traps as well. So we'll do a connection from the generator to the switch, go ahead and turn it on. Now we're going to head outside and install the electric fences, and the position of these is really important to make the base work as expected. So go ahead and orient these, advance rotate them so that they're going up. And then we're going to head back into the base. We're going to pull out some ladder blocks. It doesn't matter what kind because these are just temporary. You're going to put these up just to get in and out of the base for wiring purposes, and then you'll take them back down. So back up in here over where we had these facade blocks, we're going to advance rotate the electric fences until they're facing sideways with each one out. So that one's going to face right and this one's going to face left. And what this is going to allow us to do is to create a crisscross pattern below, so the zombies actually get stuck just a few feet before they get to you, which gives you a reprieve to deal with them. Now, I've thought about this more. You could kind of do a combination of this if you wanted to have them stop at different points, but I still really like this setup here, and you always want to wire down here to the electric fences first, because you want the electric fences to end inside the base, because the last point in the chain is where you repair. And the last bit I will say on this one is that you should always go walk into your electric fences at least once, just so that you make sure that they are functioning properly. So make sure when you step in, you get the electrical shock bit and you are good to go. Moving on to stage 2, this is typically for day 14 to 21-ish. You'll need about 2,500 cobblestone rocks, 250 cobblestone shapes, 1,700 concrete mix, and 3 iron doors. Just so you know, I make those as approximates. I typically round up as I'm going through the process so that hopefully you have enough resources in case you make mistakes. For the first step of this one, we're just going to be doing upgrades. So you're going to need 2,500 cobblestone rocks, 1,700 concrete mix, and then some iron doors, hatches, and double doors. The first thing we're going to do in this stage is take everything that is wood and go ahead and upgrade it to cobblestone. For this part, there's no reason to be precise, just run around your base and make sure that you've got all your bits upgraded. We're going to go into a little bit more detail in a second on the specific areas you want to reinforce with cement. This part right here is probably going to be the most tedious thing that you have to do in this stage. The rest of the stuff's all pretty straightforward. So once you're done and you have everything cobblestone, you're ready to go ahead and upgrade concrete areas. So start with the stairs, then you're going to get the platform across, the fighting position, all the blocks around that area. You want to just focus on the places that you think zombies are going to hit. So a few reinforcements here for the stairs coming in. Then on the pillars, take it up to level 3. I accidentally missed one block, so I'll just replace it so you can make sure that you see only 3 blocks up with concrete. If you've got the extra, go ahead and go all the way up on the pillars. But for the first steps, let's just get up to level 3. And this is a good time to say, with any of my upgrade recommendations, you can go ahead and move forward to the next stage if you have the materials to do so. No reason to stop. Underneath the base, make sure you hit these 4 blocks, and then also hit the ladders going up the back, as the zombies tend to hit these a bit. The last thing we need to do for this step is upgrade all the doors, hatches, so you get the back double door, the hatches on the floor, and the doors on the floor. And then we want to get also the hatch that's up the ladder a bit here, so we'll get those, and then reach right up here and get this guy right here. Moving on to step 2, we're going to go ahead and upgrade the pit. We're going to add a second set of stairs, we're going to add walls to the stairs, and then we're going to add some additional blocks around the top of the base. For this step, you'll need 240 cobblestone shapes and 5 concrete shapes. In the first part of this, it's going to be just like we made the stairs in step 1. You're going to dig out 4 blocks here. Place a stair, keep digging, place a stair, keep digging, place a stair. The only nuance to remember here is that the top stair should be concrete and the bottom stair should be concrete. Once we get to the bottom, we'll dig out the entire floor and we're going to fill those in with cobblestone cubes. After you have the floor in place, you can start digging out the side walls, and you're going to take those 3 blocks up in every direction. It's up to you whether you do the diagonal block on each of the corners to connect everything. Those can be impacted by demos going off, as explosions can move diagonally through blocks. On the 2 outside walls, we're going to carry those 3 block height all the way through to the stairs, because we're going to continue that up as we make walls on both sides of the stairs. I didn't mention it earlier, but we do want to bring the wall that's in between the 2 stairs up to 4 blocks, because we're going to attach the ramps that go up the stairwell to those. So we'll go ahead and attach that here. And then basically we're going to treat this the opposite of how we did the stairs, where we're going to dig and then place a ramp and dig and place the ramp on the top side, and you'll just make sure that they line up. And then in regards to the side walls, all you're going to do is dig these out so that you make sure that you have no rock peeking out between either the ramps or the stairs on the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to fast forward this through so you can kind of see the whole process. We're going to do it on this side, and then we'll continue back over to the other stairwell and make sure that we have all the cubes filled in. Eventually we'll get this all up to concrete in stage 3. The last part of this step is to dig out the area right around, so we're going to create a little bit of a frame so that we have all these filled in with cobblestone blocks. Eventually also we'll take this up to concrete, but this is going to frame out the side of your stairs as well as the area right in front of the pit. Moving on to step 3, we're going to put in some shielding for your electrical fences. You're going to use 10 cobblestone shapes, 20 concrete shapes, 2 iron shutters, and about 100 concrete mix. We'll start off by upgrading these 3 blocks to concrete, and then we're going to pull out plates, and we're going to put plates along the edge here, and we're going to cover up that open gap that we have on the side. We're going to take that all the way up to 1 level below the top, and then on the top level we're going to put in plate ramps just so that it evens out and you don't have kind of a weird jutting perspective there. Now we're just going to go to the other side and repeat the same process. And after we're done here, we're ready to go to the back side where the pit is. So down here, we're going to put in 4 plates along the bottom. Then we're going to skip over the empty space, and on top, we're going to put 2 plate ramps. And then along the edges of each of these, we're going to put window trim, and that is to stop the diagonal blast from demos from going off. And finally, we need to cover these up so that we still have access to them. So we're going to go ahead and put in shutters. Honestly, you could also go with a door here if you wanted to and just have it flip up so that you still had an angle to be able to do repairs. Either of those work fine. I like these because they're a little bit more flush to the build. I also should note, if you didn't do it earlier, you should complete the electricity that we had in stage 1, step 1 by the end of stage 2. All right, we are now on to stage 3, the final stage. You're going to need the materials you see up there, and the process is going to be very similar when we upgrade to stage 2. For step 1, you're going to need about 4,500 concrete mix, 2,500 steel, and 160 concrete shapes. And the first thing that we're going to do, similar to stage 2, is that we are going to take all the cobblestone here and we are going to upgrade it all to concrete. The order that you do this doesn't really matter, just get to it and upgrade everything, unless you're just low on materials, and then obviously focus on the areas where you think zombies are going to do damage, but otherwise just get that done first. Next, we're going to work on upgrading the most vulnerable areas of the base to steel, and this is going to follow the same pattern that we used in previous stages, so places like the stairs, the approach, the fighting position. Make sure the pillars first 3 levels as well as the foundation below them. When you're done with that, you're going to head down into the pit and grab a few building shapes because you're going to nerd pull up and just start carving out the area all the way around. So we're going to cut these out. You only actually need to do 4 blocks per side unless you want to connect the corners, but as you're going higher up, that's not quite as critical because they're not likely to take damage from cop spit and from demo explosions and things like that. So I would just do this as quickly as possible, get this all filled in with concrete, and then we're going to come back to the bottom and upgrade some of that to steel. So starting from the bottom, you're going to want to go 4 blocks up in terms of upgrading to steel. And you're going to want to carry this the whole way around the room and then also out to the stairs. So you'll go up the first 4 stairs and you're going to want to hit the walls on each side of there. Once you're done upgrading, you'll head upstairs and we're going to expand out the pad a little bit. And we're also going to fill in all the blocks right around the pillars with concrete, just so that zombies can't get underneath there with, you know, demos going off and stuff like that. It'll just give you more protection for late game. Now you're ready to jump into the last step, which is going to be the final electrical and hardware upgrades. For this, you're going to need the handful of electrical components you see there, as well as the door and shutter and hatch upgrades. The first thing we're going to do in this final step is replace the iron doors we have here. So pull out your steel powered door and you're going to copy the rotation of the existing iron door there. That's going to make it easier. Then same thing with the other one because it's going to have a slightly different rotation. Then take that door out and then go ahead and place the last one in here. We'll get these all wired up here in just a second. Now we're going to go down below and add blade traps to each of the sides. These should sit snugly right up against the plates that you have there. And then in the front here, we're going to upgrade those iron shutters up to steel shutters. Head up the stairs over here. These are just temporary stairs we put in. Upgrade the iron door to a steel door. Upgrade the double iron doors to double steel. The hatch to steel. And then we're going to put industrial lights in the corners here and here. And then out in the back, we're going to also place industrial lights. Next, we're going to come back inside and add a switch on the right side of the wall, and that's going to control the doors. And then upstairs on the top here, we're going to put a couple spotlights. This is going to illuminate your fighting position. Then on the back side, we're going to put a couple SMG turrets, one there and one there. And then come back down, and it's time to start wiring everything up. So off the generator, we go to the other switch, and from this switch, we're going to go to both of the powered vault doors out front. And this is going to be your dump mechanic. So you flip this on to make the lane active and the zombies can cross across. And then you turn it off and it dumps the zombies. Next, we're going to get lighting. So we'll come off the main generator and go to each of these. And then we're going to make a powertrain for each of these lights. So from that light to that light, and to that light to that light. Then we're going to carry this upstairs to the spotlight on that side. And then we're going to go ahead and aim it towards the fighting position. And that is good to go. And then we'll come off the industrial light back to the spotlight on the opposite side. We're just kind of spreading out the power so you have some redundancy there, but you can kind of, there's not a right and wrong way of how you wire this up. Back inside, we're going to come off the switch here and we're going to power both the SMG turrets as well as the new blade traps that we just added in. So we'll connect both of these up. Go ahead and load these with ammo. Make sure you lock the ammo. I like to turn off the little sword icon for strangers, but otherwise you're good to go there. No need to really aim those per se because they're just there to take out the birds. So off of, again, the left switch, which controls all your traps, to both of the blade traps. And then I should mention, make sure you absolutely remove these temporary ladders before you go do Horde Night, otherwise you're going to have a hard time. Now I noticed as I was looking at this that I only had a single engine. I had to update the document and everything, so I had to test here, and I think we need about 2 more engines. So go ahead and turn it off, add a couple engines, turn it back on, and you can see we have about 20 watts of headroom, so we are in good shape. So that is it. Add your last 2 engines in, and you're ready for Horde. Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial on the Eko Mini. If you want to see the full playthrough where I designed this, tested it, had it fail, and then had to adapt and make it better and stronger, you can check that out over there. Also, while you're over there, check out all the amazing supporters, and I will see everyone on the next one. Cheers all and thanks.